Unmasked for Unit 5, Lesson 11. The first part of our homework and what we spend a chunk of time of doing in class is showing how with division, we can prove that fractions and their equivalent decimals are equal, right? So the way we set this up, and we've done this when we've turned fractions into decimals before, is our top number becomes the number that we place inside the division symbol. The bottom number is outside, because we are really reading this as 1 divided by 2. Now, obviously, this fraction is less than 1, so my answer is going to be less than 1. So I start by putting a decimal point and at least one decimal place there, marking with a 0, of course, and I can add as many zeros to the end of this as I want to. It also helps me right away to make sure that I put that decimal point in my answer, and then it's going to become very important that I think about place value as I put my answers in place. So now I have 10 tenths. 2 goes into 10 5 times, and putting that 5 right here in the tens place, right? Because I'm making that group there. 2 times 5 is 10, right? So now my division is clearly showing that these are equivalent. These are equal to each other because this fraction is represented in division form here, and the answer to that is the same as my decimal in that problem. Let me show you another one. So we've got 1/8 and 0.125, right? So the 1 goes on top. It's convenient here that I know how many decimal places to put because I've already matched it, and I'm making groups of 8. So again, place that decimal right there, right? 8 goes into 10 once, and 10 minus 8 is 2. I bring down the 0. 8 goes into 22 times. 2 times 8 is 16. I subtract and get 4. Bring down the 0. 8 goes into 45 times. And again, there's that fraction represented in division form. There's that decimal answer that matches the one I've given, so I can definitely see that they are equivalent. All right. The next question in our homework is a word problem. And one of the words I want you to pay attention to is the word of, right? So if I eat a fourth of 24 cookies, and I could totally do that, right? I am really remembering that of is a word that represents multiplication. Think 2 groups of 3, that's 6, right? We multiply to get that answer. So the problem I'm really solving is 1/4 times 24. For some of us, it can be helpful to rewrite 24 as a fraction. So that's 24 wholes. And then I'm just using my numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. And then I'm thinking about the fact that I just practiced division with these fractions, so this can really be read as 24 divided by 4, and in that case, my answer is 6. You can apply the same strategy to the work that you've got there, okay? Our last set of questions for 511 is division, but if we read the directions, it says use long division to find each quotient. Write your answer as a decimal. So we know there's going to be a decimal. We're not going to find whole number groups. So an example of a problem similar to this would be 84 divided by 8, right? So I'm setting this up. 84 goes inside, 8 goes outside. I'm making one group here. And I can't make a group of 8 out of 4. So just like I did before, I'm adding a decimal. I'm going to go ahead and say I couldn't make any groups in that place, and then I'm placing that decimal in my answer. I'm going to make it a little bit longer. Now I'm going to add that 0 for that decimal. So this becomes 40 now. 8 goes into 45 times, and then my answer you can see is 10.5. So you're going to be doing the same thing. You're just going to be adding a decimal and some zeros to that number that you are dividing, and then your answer will have a decimal every time. Make sure you use your multiplication chart if you need to. Remember, you do have to show all of your calculations on your paper. Good luck.